Today we're going to be going over some of the strongest performing fragrances that you can buy right now. Nothing discontinued, nothing rare. I mean, these are things you can go pull the trigger on right now if you feel so inclined. And at the end of the day, performance is one of the most important metrics for people. At least that's what I've gathered after putting out videos for so long. The number one question I get asked from people in the community, that is how does it perform? Outside of the community, you know, when I meet random people and they ask me what I do, it's never anything about performance at all. It's just always, oh, what's the best one I can get to smell good? And I tell them, you know, a lot of the times I do have good performance, but, you know, they usually don't even think about that. They just want to know what works. And so once you start getting into the community, you start buying a lot of scents, and a lot of them only last, you know, 4 or 5 hours. You start getting frustrated and you want to know what actually works well, and these are it. And this first one is Montale Ristretto Intense Cafe, coming in at an extrait concentration. I don't like the bottle at all. I just don't. I mean, it's aluminum, which is cool. It's something different, you know, and it's going to be break resistant. So that's nice, but it feels very cheap. A lot of it's because it's so light. Again, light, kind of a thin aluminum. It's just, I don't love it. None of that matters at all though, because it's a coffee scent, and it is a completely beast mode coffee scent. There's some vanilla, caramel, and rose in there as well. So that rose is gonna get people, it's gonna hang a lot of people up. They're not gonna really rock with it so much. So be careful going into a blind buy because it's strong. It's definitely not for everybody, so I caution you with this one. Don't go out and blind buy it. That being said, if you like coffee, like rose, you just want something that's completely and absurdly beast mode, this is something to look into. And honestly, a lot of Montales and even Manceras follow a similar blueprint of just being crazy strong for a pretty low price, so you can do some looking around. This next one is Gentleman Eau de Parfum Reserve Privé, and this one is also very strong. It's got whiskey, iris, getting some hazelnut, kind of chocolatey undertones in here as well. So it's a little bit gourmand, boozy, sweet, rich, smells phenomenal. This is by far the best flanker within the line, and they did a great job on it, and I'm glad they put this one out. What are they going to have to do to top this one? I really don't know. It would have to be like a Reserve Privé Elixir or something and just make it even heavier and stronger and even more crazy, but who knows what they're going to do. I think they set the bar really high for this one, at least within the community. It's gotten a lot of respect, so I'm curious to see what their next move is going to be. You know, who knows if it's going to hold up or not. Regardless of that, this one hopefully is here to stay for a long time. I hope they don't get rid of this one anytime soon, but it's worth grabbing if you want beast mode performance and you also want a nice iris, kind of whiskey, boozy scent that just works great. And this next one is one that is so strong, believe it or not, I've even heard people make the remark that it is too strong and it performs too well. And never did I think I would hear that, because it's always, oh, that sucks in performance. More, needs to be better performing. Very rarely do you hear that something's too strong, but they did it here with Sauvage Elixir. So for people who want just completely crazy strong to the point where it might be too much and people may not like it, this is it right here. And it makes sense, and I can see where people are coming from, because not only is just the performance crazy strong, but it is also super warm spicy. I mean, everything from the licorice to the cinnamon that's in here, nutmeg, I believe maybe a little bit of cinnamon, but I can't remember for sure. There's a lot of sandalwood as well. It's warm, spicy, and that's basically the extent of it. It is crazy, but it's also very mature, much more mature than Sauvage, to the point where it doesn't even smell like Sauvage. So it's kind of an odd one, because this almost could have been a standalone scent, but they were able to leverage the insane popularity of the Sauvage line to also push this one to superstardom as well. I mean, it's everything that everybody's talking about. There's clones. You can get Latafa Assad for around $20. It's going to do a very similar thing and still be strong. Not as strong as this one, but it'll get the point across. This is one that you can get on discounters for, you know, $140, $150. Testers came in for like $130 the other day. I sent out an email about that, and it sold out really quick because you just don't see it that low often. This next one is also crazy strong, and another one that's a little bit polarizing, Ultra Male. Reason why is because it's so sweet. You know, it is so incredibly sweet to the point where for a lot of people it's a bit too much. Some people say it's a bit yucky because it is just overpowering. It has a lot of pear, vanilla, bit of lavender, cinnamon, spices in here, but it's just the fruity pear combined with all of the other sweet notes. It is a bit too much sometimes. This would be an absolute no-go in the summertime. You would hate yourself if you wore this when it's that hot out. So this is more of a fall and wintertime scent for me and for most people, unless you are crazy and you like it in the warm weather, which more power to you. But you know, you want the cold weather, cold air to kind of help tame this one down, and that's what it does. Great performer. It's going to get the point across, no problem. It's going to last all day. Another one from Dior, it is Dior Homme Intense. So iris, ambrette, lavender. You guys know the deal behind this one by now. Dior Homme Parfum, of course, is another absolute monster of a scent, but it's a bit more expensive and also a bit more polarizing, I suppose, because it does have some rose and oud, and it's not everybody's favorite. It's one of my favorites. But DHI is still a bit challenging in and of itself, but nowhere near the level of DHP. So I wanted to throw this one in instead. This one's kind of interesting because it's on the softer side. You know, it might not have the same level of projection as some of these other scents, but it does have incredible longevity. It'll keep going all day and night. This next one is Gucci Guilty Elixir. So, you know, the newest of the Gucci Guilty line, at least right now. And what I love so much about it is it reminds me a lot of Reflection Man 45 by Amouage. And that's a scent that's in production. You know, it's not like it's discontinued. However, it's incredibly expensive. Retail is $500 and it's often sold out on discounters. It pops up every now and then, but it goes quick and it's still expensive. Now, you know, don't get me wrong. This is also very expensive. It is also a 60 ml bottle, and so the price per milliliter is high, okay? But still, it's going to be more obtainable to a lot of people, and realistically, you don't need a lot of this stuff. I think a 100 ml bottle would probably be overkill, and it's honestly same with Sauvage Elixir, which is now offered at a 100, but for most people, 60 is plenty. And same thing here. It has just that kind of white floral, soapy, expensive smell that Reflection Man has, but it has more power and depth, which makes it more similar to the 45 Extrait, which is the one that demands that high price tag. Definitely something worth checking out if you want beast mode performance and a lot of mass appeal. Now, we're gonna switch gears and go to something that is super cheap, okay? If all of these have been too expensive, this is something that you can get for 30 bucks and it is not gonna leave you hanging. It is Bentley for Men Intense, cedarwood incense, rum. You know, it's another one that's going to be polarizing. A few of these are going to be. It's just kind of how it works sometimes when you get into these strong performers. You know, but this one has been around for a long time, so the hype is, you know, past at this point, but it's still well known and people still talk about it. But a lot of people found out that they did no research and they rushed into a blind buy that they ended up hating. And again, luckily it's only 30 bucks, but guys, come on. This is a smoky, boozy, old school smelling scent. People say grandpa, people say old man. Yes, it does smell like that. So be careful. I don't mind it one bit, okay? I've worn this stuff quite often and I love it. It's something that's just different. It's fun, exciting to wear. And you know, when you wear it, I don't think people are gonna think you smell like an old man if you're young. If you're old, they might, but it's obvious, okay? But if you're young and you wear this one with confidence, who cares? And at this price point, can you really complain? I mean, how many things of this price perform this good? It's slim to none. So we talked about Montale earlier. Let's jump over to Mancera, which generally is a bit more of a popular brand, and also they just have, you know, typically more mass-pleasing scents. Okay, this one is Intense Cedrat Boise. This stuff is incredible. This is my new favorite. I would take this over the EDP any day, and the EDP was my first ever niche purchase, so it means a lot to me. It has a special place in my heart. I've worn the heck out of it, spring, summer, fall, winter, but the Intense is better in every way. It truly is more intense, better performing, and it's also not a whole lot more money. Discounters, it's 100 bucks. The EDP, it's, you know, 75, 80. So to me, it's a no-brainer to just spend a little bit more and get a majorly better product. And that's not to say that the EDP is bad, because it's still great, but people did struggle with performance from it. Whether it's been reformulated or not, who knows? But if you don't get good performance out of that, this one will fix that issue for you. Spicebomb Extreme is a very popular one that does have unstoppable performance. It's got tobacco, a lot of it, black pepper, some vanilla in here, and that's basically what it's all about. One of the best designer tobacco scents out there for around $110, maybe $115. You know, it's 90 ml. It's on the pricier side of things, but well worth it. And this bottle will go a long way. Super cool presentation, great marketing behind it, great mass appeal as well. This one smells like the holidays to me. And again, that performance is not going to let you down. If you're someone who has dealt with mostly weaker scents up until this point, and you wear this one, you're going to be shocked at just how strong it is, and you're going to be hooked. This last one is Parfums de Marly Althair, okay, and it's great. It's the newest PDM, and so immediately it's going to get some pushback because that's just how it works. However, I have to say, they did a great job, and I liked it to start, but I love it now. I've worn it a lot more. There was a point, I think I said this in a passing video, there was a point where I was wearing this one consecutively. I think I wore it 2-3 days in a row, which is something that is usually rare for me. And if that does happen, that's because I'm really starting to like it. And I get kind of hooked on it for a brief point in time where it's like, yeah, I like that a lot. Kind of get obsessed with it for a little bit. And then maybe I won't touch it again for a while. But this has now worked itself into the category where I'm super pleased with it. I think this one smells amazing. If you're after a nice vanilla forward, kind of hazelnutty, dessert, kind of chocolatey, rich gourmand style that's very sweet, again, to go back to that from PDM, this is it. It's going to be an absolute compliment destroyer. Great performance out of it. That's going to do it for me, guys. Some of the strongest performing fragrances you can buy right now. I think for the most part, these are all in stock on discounters and something you can pick up and have great performance out of. I'll link them down below. And again, jump on my mailing list if you want to be notified of some of the best deals, rare stuff that's coming up almost every day. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.